Welcome to the Tech Trends Podcast, where we discuss the latest manufacturing, technology, research, and news. Today's episode is sponsored by Modern Machine Shop Made in the USA podcast. Hi, guys.
Guys,
Hello.
I hear Legally Blonde is coming out again.
Yes.
Tell me more, and I have questions.
Okay. So originally, I think it did come out that it was going to be like Legally Blonde 3, right?
Sure.
But then they were like, actually, we're going to make this prequel series.
Oh, serious? Okay.
And I'm a hardcore Legally Blonde fan. I can quote it from start to finish. And I also love the second one. I mean, Sally Field is in it. Like, how can you not love the second one?
Have you seen Legally Blondes?
Yes, I have.
Because that one is actually
You mean
my
the
favorite.
nieces of Elwood?
I don't know why that
Yes.
one's my favorite, but it is.
Yes.
They ate.
I think you also mentioned
It
when
was
we were
straight
prepping
DVD.
that Reese Witherspoon, who was in the movie,
Yes.
is producing the series, right?
Yeah, so it's her and her production company, Hello Sunshine. They
Oh, that's
are
cool.
producing the
That's so cute.
series. And
I'm a big fan of actors turned producers.
I love Reese Witherspoon.
Same
I
thing
think
happens to
it's
quarterbacks.
tied to Legally Blonde. But also, the person who is playing Elle was announced like 2 days ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she looks just like young Reese Witherspoon.
That's
I mean,
fun.
even like
Fun.
older Reese Witherspoon, but like young Reese Witherspoon. The only one who could possibly play her any closer would be her daughter, who is literally her carbon copy.
Yeah, no, they look exactly like
I'm
Yes.
glad they do that because the aging CG is terrible.
It's really bad.
It's bad.
That was awful.
At Dear Evan Hansen.
So the question I have for you guys is, what's an older movie that you would like to be remade, and who should remake it? Since Legally
Okay.
Blonde she was in the movie,
Yes.
and she's now producing it.
Yeah.
What's another movie you guys would like to see remade?
I want to see The Green Lantern,
Oh,
produced by Ryan Reynolds.
you're the only one.
Yeah, absolutely. But I want it to be a spoof, and I want him to just every 5 seconds we all talk, just like every other of his movies where he talks about how bad the Green Lantern is. I really want him to own it.
Yeah.
I need him to be aware, and I need him to like really understand that this is the only redemption he's gonna get.
This is not acceptable.
It's
and you should
not.
know it.
Yeah. Because Green Lantern is good, and you just
Yeah. I do so DC does a really good job on the cartoon movies.
yes.
But once he translates live action, it's just terrible. So I like that idea, but if he did like a cartoon version of that, I think it would be really good.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I like that too. So
Yeah.
if you're watching this, Ryan Reynolds,
Call me, we'll produce it.
Although
hit
I
us
am
up.
kind of excited about the new Superman movie because like the guy actually
Oh
looks
my
like
God,
they're actually
yes.
the difference between like Clark Kent and Superman. Like
Yeah.
he's
Yes.
kinda, like he looks different enough where I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I'd like think it was him. But I'd be like, nah.
They would get me every time.
No.
I'd be like, no way. No way. Put them together.
There is an evolution in his uniform, and one of them, he does have the tidy whities on the outside.
I love it.
It looks pretty good.
Also, my
Classic.
favorite scene in the trailer is when they hit him in the head with like the thing as he walk into the building, and I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, I just want him to turn around and just,
Zap him.
just zap him like you're gone. That
turns
was what I
into
would
The
do.
Boys right away.
Exactly. I think I watched too much of The Boys because Homelander's taking him out.
So I would want to see a remake of When Harry Met Sally, and
Harry
that's
Met
partially okay. So part of me is like, I hate that because it's the perfect rom com. It is the
Yeah.
perfect rom com.
Yeah.
It is the pacing, the casting, the sets. It's all of it perfect. Carrie
Yeah.
Fisher's in it. Like
Yeah.
it's amazing, right? And I would basically die for Billy Crystal, but I would want him to come back and produce it.
Okay.
And I'd want the hard part is that, like all of those iconic romantic comedies from that era, You've Got Mail, Sleepless in Seattle, it was written by Nora Ephron, who has unfortunately passed away.
Okay.
So we'd have to get like Meg Ryan in on the writing and like people who have that very similar style, you know? So it'd be really hard to remake it.
Right.
It almost like it's hard because I want to see it like I would love to see it like again in a new version, but
Yeah.
also it's just such a perfect movie.
I think
one of those
for me,
movies.
I have a similar sentiment. So Tombstone, I have a really strong emotional attachment. It's like one I would watch that over my wife, who I was dating at the time, just complains about it because we watch it so much. Because I would just come home and just put it on.
Oh my god.
It just play in the background for
This
us,
is a
right?
side I've never seen of Ben before, but I'm like,
So
you are so white.
So a remake of Tombstone, but I'm not sure because a lot of modern westerns are actually really good. Like
Yeah.
310 to Yuma is really good, but I wonder if like a modern interpretation of Tombstone in current setting would be kind of interesting for me. And having I forgot the actors
Val
like
Kilmer?
Val Kilmer or Kurt Russell, one of those guys produce it, I think would be really interesting for me.
That's a
1993,
great answer to that
man.
question.
Did you know that there's someone at this office, I'm not going to name their name, but it might be my boss, who didn't know what Tombstone was?
It's me.
It's a pizza company.
'Cause I'm literally Googling it right now, and I'm like,
You should watch it.
1993.
Also, but
the
also
remake of 310 to Yuma was great.
Yep.
The remake of True Grit
True
was
Grit
great.
was really good. Closer to the book.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And then the precursors for Yellowstone are actually pretty good. So yeah, I would be up for Tombstone. Steve, what's
Okay.
yours?
So I immediately wanted to default to like one of my favorites, if not my favorite movie, Pulp Fiction. But I
Okay.
think that Tarantino is still alive and still has one more movie to go in his manifesto before he's retiring.
I think Tarantino's actually a humanoid robot.
Yeah,
He's not really
I think
alive.
he's an early generation, which kind of transitions to my real answer. But before we get there, I'm really hoping that Mel Brooks pulls a Norm Macdonald, because I think Mel Brooks is still alive, right?
Probably.
Also has like the most cancel-worthy movies in his resume
That's true.
ever. Like these movies that he made in the past cannot come out today. Like probably shouldn't even be studied. But
Or in your library.
I'm really hoping, yes, or in your library. But I'm really hoping that like Mel Brooks has like one final hurrah movie that he had produced, like the producers, under Cloak and Dagger,
Sure.
and is not going to release until he dies.
in your comments, write down your favorite Mel Brooks movie.
But my final answer to the android part that
Quentin
that
Tarantino.
Tarantino definitely reminds me of, I want to see Aliens.
Oh, the second one, Aliens,
like
right?
big Alien universe fan, and I
Okay.
want to see Aliens redone. I want Sigourney Weaver coming back. But my problem is like every Aliens movie after the first two, after Alien and Aliens, like all of the fans, myself included, like want answers or want like answer. They want our questions answered with the next movie that comes out,
Right.
and every follow-up movie answers none of them and just makes us ask more.
Yeah.
So
It's a big tease.
yeah.
It's a long way.
Someday we're going to have to debate about Quentin Tarantino because I have very strong feelings about him. And they're
You
not
should,
positive.
as you should.
They're not
Like he
positive.
is. I mean,
Write down your feelings in the comments about
Yeah,
Quentin
yeah.
Tarantino.
And also
Right, if you
like
Quentin
and share
Tarantino.
while you're there.
Although
I'm
knowing
sorry,
our audience probably likes Quentin Tarantino.
unhinged people do the most beautiful work.
Ramia, can you tell us?
Kanye West.
Can you tell us about today's sponsor? After you finish laughing.
Yes. Tune in for Modern Machine Shop's Made in the USA podcast to explore manufacturing issues faced by companies making an intentional choice to manufacture in the U.S. Featuring commentary from OEM leaders, Made in the USA blends its nearly century-long expertise with a unique audio storytelling experience to shine a spotlight on the past, present, and future of American manufacturing. Find Made in the USA on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms. Follow Modern Machine Shop on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn.
Thanks, Ramia.
Anytime.
Steven,
Like, share, subscribe,
besides that,
comment down below.
tell me about cars.
I want to talk about cores. So
Ciao.
a couple episodes back, maybe even before Elissa and Ramia joined us.
Like I say, a couple episodes back, that was like
That's
a
years
year
ago.
ago.
You know, just let me go. Let me cook, please.
Let me cook. Let him cook.
Ben brought up Gran Turismo years ago, and I had put it off because I was kind of like damaged and hurt by Gran Turismo 6 and Gran Turismo Sport because they started going down the same route that Call of Duty went down and started catering to the esports audience and not the enthusiasts. 2 years, 3 years now after the release of Gran Turismo 7, I finally got it. It was actually gifted to me by my wife for Valentine's Day, and it was like there was actually like 72 hours before I even played it. I didn't play it immediately just because I wasn't ready to something that I grew up with and I hold dear to my heart. I wasn't ready to see how they once again butchered my boy. You know,
Why am I going to cry? My boy.
but Gran Turismo 7 is amazing, and the intro video is always so well overproduced. But what's really awesome about it is in the ad intro video, you get a glimpse of the production of modern cars, and you see a lot of modern advanced automation and work holding being used to make these cars without a human in sight, and it's so cool. A lot of Fanic robots, but I wanted to say that I finally got back into Gran Turismo. It relit the flame that and love that I have for cars again. Not that it ever went anywhere, but it was definitely turned down.
Sure.
It was definitely like the Tomb of the Forgotten Soldier, like levels of flame. Like he was just hanging on by a thread. But Gran Turismo really brought it back for me.
Such a roller coaster of emotion.
Really
Such a
awesome.
deep cut.
I feel like I was there.
We're not done with the tech.
okay.
We're coming back to manufacturing technology, I promise. But the 2025 Corvette, stop. The 2025 Corvette.
It's like you're sending a telegram. The
Is-
2025 Corvette, stop.
2025 Corvette ZR1.
Fantastic
is
car.
Incredible car. There's a few things that I want to talk about.
Does it go
with
fast?
It goes really fast. It's putting down blistering lap times around legendary circuits around the U.S. They haven't sent it to the Nürburgring yet, which is a 12.9 mile racetrack in Germany that is not allowed to be used for a lot of races because it's so dangerous. They built it after World War II so Germany could rebuild as a country. I went there a couple, 2 years ago now, and it was a very religious experience for me because I had been racing it on video games for so long, and now I saw that it was real. They haven't sent it there yet, but that's where a lot of manufacturers send their cars to see how fast they truly are. And the Corvette's going to go there. But what's really cool about the Corvette's always been a world-class sports car made by an American company, and the American car companies are not typically respected around the world because they typically make junk. But when it comes to fast cars and burning a lot of gas for not a lot of money, American car manufacturers, they bring it. They bring it hard. And I want to talk about the accessibility because it's always been known that the Chevy Corvette has been a lot of performance, like Ferrari matching levels of performance for a tenth the price. You know, this ZR1 is putting down lap times that are better than prototype race cars, Le Mans race cars. I think the tracks around the U.S., including Willow Springs and Watkins Glen, like the top 10 list of fastest lap times for production cars, half of them are not street legal.
Right.
The Corvette is the top street legal, and then there's a few more non-street legal cars, and then it's something extreme, a multi-million-dollar like Porsche 918 or something crazy like that, like McLaren W1, whatever, and which is literally a multi-million-dollar car, and they're making this car go burr for only $175,000 only. But what's the best part about it? They don't like when a car manufacturer sends their car to go to these racetracks to put down a blistering lap time to show the world how fast this production car is. They typically put like a seasoned race car driver with a awesome resume and a serious pedigree behind the wheel to do it. Chevy sent the car to these tracks and just put their engineers in the car. Like ordinary humans, like with like maybe a couple track days of experience, but absolutely have never been in a real race before. And
dangerous.
they're putting down these insane lap times from an ordinary human. It's just wild. So it's a whole new level of accessibility. And
I can see the connection back
Sounds
to.
like-
Sorry, go
So
ahead.
I was going to say, it sounds like a whole new level of liability.
It sounds like a connection back to your Gran Turismo experience because you're just a random dude in these sports cars, and they're literally doing what you were doing in Gran Turismo.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see like what digital twins they use to like train the engineers to be able to put down a blistering lap like that with no experience. I can't imagine the neck workouts these engineers had to do to be ready to do that because like no, if you look at a Formula 1 driver, they have the thickest necks ever. Like there's no way an off the rack Brooks Brothers shirt would fit any race car driver. Like they need a massive collar. But
I was like, where are you going with this?
it just goes into the return of the internal combustion engine because another topic that I want to touch on, it hit my feed this morning, was Porsche is investing $821 million to not cancel, but to turn back their EV efforts and go back to internal combustion engines. So it's like, gas one, baby. We're going back.
It's funny you mentioned that because Porsche, I feel like, does a lot of cutting edge with their motors and their engines. So I feel like a lot of that money, like why you would ask, why do they spend so much money? But I feel like they want to push their efficiency so much higher. So they want to get to like the 50, 60, 70 miles per gallon on their little on their motors.
Like how people still aren't talking about the fact that a couple years ago they did they made this plant in South America that pulled carbon monoxide and CO2 from the atmosphere and reconverted it back to gasoline.
That's cool.
Now, that synthetic gasoline that they pull from the atmosphere costs roughly like $1,700 per gallon.
Sure.
Oh, wow.
But
Totally cost effective.
it's just the infrastructure.
Absolutely.
We just need to build infrastructure, and then we can do it all the time. The next generation can't afford. I'm not going to be able to experience any of that. But
I think that's in line with a lot of the economicists that have been at MP Forecast, where they see EVs fairly not short-lived, but there's a lifespan to the EV end product, right?
Yeah.
Either shifting back to hybrids or, like in Porsche's case, going to completely internal combustion. It's a very interesting shift to see where they're headed and like kind of what they produce from here. Elissa,
Yeah.
you got some news on 911?
Yeah, not the television show.
Great show.
It is a great show,
I
though.
love
It's a
that
great
show.
cartoon.
Definitely recommend it. Well, when he was talking about like they pull the CO2. I was watching the show Unstable on Netflix, which stars Rob Lowe and his son.
Ugh,
And
Rob Lowe.
you don't like him?
I don't know.
Okay.
He just is everywhere.
Well, like he's like a manic genius kind of person in the show, and so he was like, they were talking about how they were doing just that, but instead of gasoline, they were creating like concrete or something. And I was like, I
sounds
wish that
familiar,
was
actually.
real.
Actually, back to the movies. I want to produce a movie where I'm the smart guy. I'm just a genius, just, like, solve everything.
The guy. I want to be the guy in the chair that like is like eating chips and he's like, I'm in.
Fake hacker.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I got it. Like, shut up.
You're just streaming like Matrix video in the background.
oh man, like the Russian guy from GoldenEye. I'm invincible. He gets covered in liquid nitrogen.
Oh no.
No, I don't think I want to be that.
Well,
No.
what he
part.
should have
Okay.
done is call 911 and
Excellent segue.
thank you.
We should do this on Friday more often.
So a Mizzou assistant professor Mizzou, for people who don't know, is the University of Missouri. And
Did not know.
oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, it's called Mizzou.
Big Ten.
And so he's an expert in stochastic optimization and machine learning, and he's working with the University of Cincinnati and Texas Tech University to solve a stochastic puzzle for Texas 911 Alliance, allowing them to rescue their services from a fiscal disaster. So in 2022, the deficit for 911 funding was $75.9 million.
Oh my God.
And by 2027, it's expected to grow to $112.9 million, which is a 48% increase.
Yeah.
So basically, they need to find a way to streamline the process, and that's what he's building. So the stochastic optimization and machine learning to analyze the uncertainty in the number of 911 calls, the demand for services, and how changes in fees will impact funding. So there's actually service fees through wireless providers, it's only 7 states that have this, but there's like a service fee if you call 911 from a wireless provider, and it's like 50 or 75 cents, something like that. But we don't pay it; the company pays it.
Yeah.
And
What company? The service provider company?
Yeah,
Is it? Okay.
I believe so. But it actually does say they also did some like surveying of people in Texas, and 78% of them said they're willing to put more towards helping 911 services. And it's like, well, yeah,
That seems important.
that seems a little important.
Texas?
Yeah,
Impressive.
yeah. Texas is weird. They got their own
I
electric
thought they got the
grid
big
and
iron on their
everything.
hip. They don't need no cop. Sorry. Going back to
Missouri, where the university is located, does not charge a wireless fee, but could take on a similar approach to deciphering their data for the 911 services because the professor, whose name is Han-Young Suk Na, is going to share it with the Missouri 911 Service Board. So let me see. And then the other, the people who are working with them on this are Rob Grace of University of Cincinnati and co-investigators Wesley Wade and Chang Won Sun of Texas Tech University.
That's a fascinating project.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
I didn't even know something we needed until that came up, and I was like, I guess because I watched the show 911, I just assume we have a plethora of 911 operators there to take the calls. There's no issues.
What's her name? I can't think of it right now.
Maddie.
Yeah.
Maddie,
she's great.
Yeah.
It's interesting you bring that up because air traffic controllers kind of came up as a topic recently because of flight issues and crashes where the requirement of human guidance or human orchestration is still really relevant, right? So having someone to be like a 911 operator is still super relevant. And I think there's a lot of applications where there's a lot of human coordination or human interaction that needs to be supplemented at some point, and being able to supplement, because in one of the articles I was reading about air traffic controllers was the aging workforce, and it's very rigorous and it's a difficult workload. So the career expectancy is fairly short.
Yeah.
Why does it have to be that way? The evolution of the workforce is changing quite a bit.
Yeah.
So that's fascinating.
Yep.
So I have a question for you guys. We can I forgot to talk about a topic in the earlier section. We can either talk about dying by asteroids,
Space.
Hell yeah.
or non-planar toolpaths optimization.
Asteroid death. Just kidding.
Well, we can't call the episode "Death by Asteroid" if we don't talk about the death by asteroid.
There was something else we talked about, and I was like, we should name it that. I don't remember though.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll look back.
Big Iron.
No.
Big iron.
Let him cook. Let him cook. That's what it was.
pretty good.
We'll just edit this part out. It's fine.
Meh.
Because I was thinking.
Just leave it in.
Okay, that's fine.
A little behind the scenes peek.
We're so real.
Who had the stuff for the asteroid?
Oh, that was me.
That was you. Let's talk about asteroids.
Yeah, let me pull that
Steven
up.
was really excited about the other topic.
I'll place the link. We'll place the link for the non-planar toolpaths because it is related to additive. So it's additive manufactured non-planar toolpaths, which is for some processes and equipment, it's not relevant or it's baked into it, but it kind of gets into the Air Force is funding it. So it's an interesting project.
We should do it. We'll do like a sneak peek for next episode.
Yeah.
Join us.
So NASA says that there is a 2.3% chance of an asteroid hitting Earth in 2032. It's a 300-foot-long asteroid called the 2024 YR4.
Oh.
And the chances of collision are low, but NASA said there's a 2.3% chance that the asteroid will hit Earth in 2032.
That's a big percentage for astrophysics.
It is a big percentage. I don't like those odds. But also,
It's only 300
feet.
feet. It's not that big.
Listen, kinetic energy is.
That's like a 30-story building?
Yeah, I don't want a building coming at my planet at the speed of a bullet
Maybe we
entering
can move
the atmosphere.
planet in a way in which so it hits
Won't
just
it
the right
get
spot.
smaller?
Guys,
Yeah, it will.
why did I not
soon.
put this? We should remake Armageddon.
Oh, oh my!
It's truly just a documentary.
It's a lead up to the asteroid hitting us.
But this happened in an episode of 911. There was
An
an
asteroid?
asteroid. This lady's like depressed on the couch and she gets a weighted blanket and an asteroid like hits her while she's on the couch through the weighted blanket.
no.
And they have to like move her with the entire
Yes.
couch.
Yes.
And she's just like, watch 911.
Apparently,
The most
if you
craziest
watch
things
911, you'll realize only weird things happen in LA. Apparently,
happen. Yeah, they had
in Austin.
It truly makes you never want to move there.
Does that track?
No, it probably
Apparently,
fits.
there's tsunamis in LA.
No, the craziest one, bee NATO that caught on fire.
yes.
The whole premise of this episode is that there was some bees that got out, and they're like
bees.
this
Killer
giant
bees.
swarm of killer bees, and they somehow turn into this like bee tornado. There's a guy on a plane, right, and he's flying in this like small plane, and he gets attacked by bees, and he veers off course and runs into like a big plane, and then freaking Angela Bassett, girl needs a vacation. Angela Bassett has to fly this plane because the guy, she had to pick up this passenger from like Texas or something. The passenger that she's picking
The
up
guy who
is
killed her late
killed
fiance.
her late fiance,
Wow.
and this is after like a month and a half after she gets off this cruise ship that got wrecked in the ocean. I'm sorry, 911 is just insane. I completely derailed this entire episode, but please
But I'm glad that
give Angela Bassett a break.
I'm glad somebody mentioned tsunamis, because even if that, like, you know, if we just get a
little
grazing
blazing,
shot of
Yeah.
this asteroid going by, it's going to pull some water with its gravitational field going by.
yeah.
Like it's going to cause some tsunamis. Where? We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Be like,
Yeah.
Find out tonight.
Probably in LA if 911.
Yeah, and like Bobby's gonna come. It's insane. Everyone go watch 911. Peter Krause.
Show up, save us.
I think we should end with the like, share, subscribe.
Bing bong.
Bye,
Where do
everyone.
we even find this?